We'll go to Melbourne, Australia, where we see pictures real time from Melbourne between 𝐂𝐄𝐑 number 3 against Ukrainian Elena Svitolina, and of course it's a place for the last four for this year's Grand Slam. We'll also bring you up to speed with the games that went down a few hours ago, and we'll talk some football news. On the show today, in terms of football, we got transfer news and a few of the games that went down on Monday night. The BBC also will help us with their bid. SAMIES, it's a pleasure having you with me. Let's start straight with the first Grand Slam of the year. Alex Zverev, if you were sleeping or you were awake, he won his game against Leonard Tien of the US in 3-1. The German won the opening set 6-3, lost the second set 7-6, and then 6-1, 6-7. He got the job done. And later this morning, number 1, top seed, Carlos Alcaraz will play against the homeboy Alex Zverev. But first, SAMIES, how crucial was this for Zverev to get this one done in 3-1?
Good morning, Peter. Good morning to everyone who has joined us on the show. Well, for Alexander Zverev, I think this performance in the early hours of today was a good one for him to reach at the semi-finals in 3 consecutive years. That's since 2023. He has been in the semi-finals of the Australian Open, and his feat last season, which definitely wants people to know that it's no fluke, winning the game against that's Leonard Tien in 3 hours and 30 minutes. And you say that maybe it's just in contention to also shake off things between Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner once again. You know, many people have said that it's for Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz to lose, but let's see what the German Alexander Zverev also has to do. But in terms of Carlos Alcaraz against Alex de Minaur, also that's later today. You talk that it's also it will be a good performance from Carlos Alcaraz rather against de Minaur. Remember that for head-to-head, it's a 5-love. Between both players, and for Carlos Alcaraz unbeaten in the Grand Slam as the world number 1, 3 appearances, and of course it has been 3 straight victories for Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals of a Grand Slam, and for de Minaur it would be another attempt for him to reach the semi-finals of a Grand Slam. As 5 sets, 5-love. He has been in 5 quarterfinals, and he has not been able to go past the quarterfinal stage.
Oh, I will wait to see when the homeboy will be playing later this morning, but it'll be around 11 p.m. As we speak right now, it's around 7:30, close to 7:30 in Australia. So you see the time difference is so much in terms of where they are and where we are. But talking about where they are and where we are, SAMIES just spoke about the next quarterfinal game between Carlos Alcaraz against Alex de Minaur, and then we'll have more games coming up on Thursday morning, 4:30 a.m. Nigerian time, Wednesday morning rather. We see Lorenzo Musetti up against Novak. SAMIES Novak didn't hold a racket in his quarterfinal in his round of 16 game, but this time he played against the informed Italian Lorenzo Musetti, and then after that we see Ben Shelton of the US play against number 2 seed Jannik Sinner.
For Novak, I think this is what the body needs for him, as we know that his quest in recent years have been met with fatigue and also longer sets. But this one not playing in the round of 16, being in the quarterfinals and against one young lad who also seemed like he's all out for the title. I think it would be good for Novak to get this one and also get into the semi-finals, and then we know the semi-finals would be a big pairing between all of these stars left at the Australian Open. Yeah. But we didn't talk about Sabalenka.
We'll get to that. We'll get to the women. Let's stay with the men for now. Alex Zverev is looking for the man to play Carlos Alcaraz against Alex de Minaur, or on the other hand, Lorenzo Musetti, Novak will play the winner between Ben Shelton and Jannik Sinner. It's going to be probably a good one for the men, but we'll just have to wait to see what happens. Let's jump over to the women. How are they faring? In early hours of this morning, Aryna Sabalenka won against 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐿, the teenager who has proven that, it's not just here to count numbers, just not here to see how beautiful the Melbourne Park is, where this year's Grand Slam is going on. He was sent packing today by top seed and of course the Belarusian Aryna Sabalenka in 2 straight sets, 6-3, 6-love, job done. And as we speak right now, it's a game that you probably want to keep your eye on. 𝐂𝐿, number 3, is up against Elena Svitolina. And as we speak right now, is the Ukrainian leading in the opening set in 2-1. SAMIES, let's start with Aryna Sabalenka. Job done in 2 straight sets.
Well, fantastic for the world number one, which is no fluke as well. Since the year 2023, she has been in the semi-finals of the Australian Open, which also is a testament to where she ranks amongst the female tennis players at this point in time. In 1 hour, 30 minutes, that was how she got the job done against Ivanovic. And you tell that for her in the year 2026, well, you tell that for Sabalenka, it has been a greater run for her. And in the Australian Open also, she has a 25 wins in 26 games at the Australian Open, and her last defeat surely came at the hands of Madison Keys. That was at the last year's finals of the Australian Open. So this one, let's see also how she goes further against our opponent in the semi-finals. But for Ivanovic, it's also a good one for the 18-year-old. She would break into the top 20 by the end of this tournament when the new rankings are released.
All right, for 𝐶𝐶 not looking pretty good for her. She's trailing in the first game, the first set right now as we speak, with Svitolina serving at 2-1, and the game is 15-love right about now with the Ukrainian serving kid. You don't know how that is panning out. We're here to give you all of that for the next few minutes. So SAMIES, the other quarterfinal games, we see Elena Rybakina up against 𝐒𝐈𝐒𝐿, Jessica Pegula up against Amanda Anisimova. These are 2 American girls looking for your place in the last 4. Now that game will be on Wednesday morning.
Well, for these ones, I think it's between Jessica Pegula. It's for Jessica Pegula to actually lose, because I'm rooting for her in this encounter against Amanda Anisimova. You're looking at what both stars that they've actually done.
You take nothing away from Pegula because she sent Madison Keys defending champion.
Yes, that's what I said. Like, it's for her to lose in this game. And you talk about their rankings also. Amanda Anisimova ranked number 4, Jessica Pegula ranked number 6. And I think it's one thing to also go. But the momentum would actually that's a swinger to the side of Jessica Pegula, knocking out the defending champion. I think it's no easy feat, even though they are friends, but it's no easy feat still.
You put all of that friendship aside for now and get into this battle and see what happens. Talking about the battle, giving you more in terms of the real time. 𝐶𝐶 now lead 30-15. And Svitolina still 7. Let's head straight to the BBC and get their beat. Shabna Yunus Joe will help us with all we need to know from the Premier League game last night between Everton and Leeds, and of course some Premier League news around some of the Premier League clubs. And when we come back, we'll talk football and some transfer news in it.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Shabnam Yunus-Jewell at the BBC Sports Centre. Tieno Barry scored his 4th goal in 5 Premier League games to rescue a point for Everton against Leeds at Hill Dickinson Stadium. The 1-1 draw has nudged Everton up to 10th, while Leeds are in 16th place, 6 points above the relegation zone. Everton manager David Moyes made changes at half-time that his side responded to, and he believes they could have gone on to take all 3 points.
Absolutely, but we've said that we're not quite there yet, because we've not got our most attacking players really ready to go, and we've had a pretty difficult January with injuries, suspensions, and all the excuses I can come up with. But in the main, we're just beginning to get them back. We're needing to try and keep working on it and find ways of creating more opportunities.
Former Manchester United goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel says the club have got their mojo back under Michael Carrick. That's after back-to-back wins against Manchester City and Arsenal for the new United boss, something Ruben Amorim only managed once during his 14 months at Old Trafford, and it's moved them up into the Premier League's top 4.
People are sick and tired of listening to us old former players talking about the Manchester United DNA, but that's what it was. It was with the Manchester United DNA. You know, you turn the game quickly, you counter-attack, you go very direct, you take chances.
And in transfer news, Besiktas have paid over $15 million to Roma for Tammy Abraham as the Turkish club prepared to sell him to Aston Villa. The striker had a medical on Saturday, having travelled to the UK on Friday after Villa agreed a $24.6 million deal with the Super League side. Meanwhile, Fulham are reportedly close to signing winger Oscar Bobb from Manchester City. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
All right, there you have it. Shabna, thank you so much for that. Coming back to games yesterday in the NPFL, Remo Stars 1-1 against King Khalifa. What's going on with Remo Stars?
Well, I think I've said it since the first stanza of the NPFL season. It's not looking like they will be able to defend their title. And maybe just not in the right momentum for them. You know, they lost their head coach at a point in time this season with the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Okay.
And you tell that and they are,
but he's back now.
Yeah, he's back now. Their CAF Champions League games, it was not the best for them in the qualifiers. They lost to Mamelodi Sundowns. And then you also look at the things, not playing their games at home. Maybe these are some of the factors that has affected the Remo Stars this season. But you also look at it, that is not really of an excuse for a side that challenged for the title in 2-3 years before eventually winning the title. And now this season, this is what they are down to. Not the best for them.
Yeah, not the best for 𝐶𝐂𝐒𝐏 also. Just taking an eye on that one. Not the best for 𝐶𝐂𝐒𝐏, not playing our best of tennis right now. We'll get to that if we have a few more minutes before the end of the show. Everton 1-1 you had from the BBC, and in Spain, Girona 1-1 against Getafe, and one game again to talk about in Italy. Hellas Verona lost at home to Udinese by 3-1. SAMIES, let's spend 2-3 minutes to wrap up the show to talk some transfer news. We have from the BBC, Tammy Abraham on his way back to England.
Well, I think that's not going to be a bad move for Tammy Abraham, but to question
an unfamiliar club because he helped them in the championship get back to the Premier League.
And so you look at the level also and how Aston Villa, they are operating. They let go of Donyell Malen. I see no reason for allowing go of that Donyell Malen,
the Dutchman,
the Dutch. That's a winger striker. Now you've got a Tammy. You want to get a Tammy Abraham. Okay, what is Tammy Abraham going to give you that this man Oli Watkins won't give you? Or is it that they are preparing? Or is it that they are preparing?
Hold on, Samis. You can't rely on Oli Watkins for the remainder of the season with them also still involved in the UEFA Cup.
I know you can't rely on that Oli Watkins, but you also look at it. Like I mentioned, Donyell Malen is one player that I think he has given some good performances for Aston Villa in the first half of the season. And looking at where he has moved to, Roma, and what Aston Villa are trying to do, you let go of a man who has the ability to play across the front line, be it a striker, be it a winger, to get a static number 9 in Tammy Abraham. Okay, that's not the best of transfer.
So you are talking about one man. Let's talk about another striker here, Kolo Muani. Remember with Paris Saint-Germain, didn't work out from Eintracht Frankfurt. Beautiful World Cup he had in 2022 now. He had a beautiful World Cup. Yes, you want to say he didn't convert that chance against that, but he had a good World Cup. If he didn't have a good World Cup, Samis, Frankfurt would not.
How many games did they play at the 2022 World Cup?
It doesn't matter, but he had a good World Cup. That was why he was able to get that move from Frankfurt to PSG, and from PSG didn't work out well with him. He has jumped ship. Played for Juventus Football Club on loan, now with Spurs. It looked like Juventus said they want him back to Turin.
Well, for Juventus, they can get him if they don't get their man. That's Jean-Philippe Mateta, who also is in the books for the old ladies of Turin. But you also look at it, they have Dusan Vlahovic, and that is not enough. For Juventus. It's been out injured, coming in and out of the side. Yes. It is not the best for them. But for him, Randa Kolo Muani, I think he was solid with them last season with Juventus. So moving back there, I think it would be good for him also. And to also consider that we are in the World Cup here. Who doesn't want to be at the World Cup?
Well, we'll wait to see. For Kolo Muani, we did make that move away. And for another man also who has been in the news, Samis mentioned Mateta, Nottingham Forest, £35 million. Hey, Crystal Palace say, you do this for £40 million and we'll get a deal done. So the window is still open for a few more days. When we come in the afternoon, hopefully we'll get more news from the transfer news. And of course, we'll bring you all you need to know from this year's Melbourne, Australia. As we speak right now, looking pretty good for Vitolina, but not for 𝐶𝐂𝐒𝐏. At the moment, it's trailing 4-1 in the opening set. I am Peter Omar. I've done this with SAMIES. We'll see you again on later today for 3:30, and that will be Scoreboard Reloaded. Bye for now.